What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Garden Life podcast. We are the Duff and Dax.
So we're on a journey of discovering what it means to live whole spirit, soul, and body.
So listen along, watch us, and enjoy the journey. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Garden Life podcast. We are the Duff and Dax.
Episode 2. We're so excited. This is going to be a good one. If you haven't listened to the last one, you should. It's our story of how Garden Life got started, our journeys of living this garden life, how it's impacted us, of learning, is it possible to live whole spirit, soul, body? So go listen to that. Before we get into this episode, though, we should acknowledge one big thing. There's a little announcement if you don't know.
No, you can't see my bum. I'm for anyone that's listening, I'm trying. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Announce it first.
Yeah, we are expecting baby number 2, a little
Yep.
baby boy.
That's why I'm wearing blue today.
So excited. So if you're watching us on YouTube, and you just start to notice throughout the weeks that one of us is not practicing what we're preaching.
He's usually the one with the
she's getting a
belly.
little bigger. Okay. It's because she's pregnant, folks. Give her some grace.
Oh my gosh.
But we're so excited.
Yeah, for anyone that
Crazy.
doesn't know us that well, we have a 2.5-year-old daughter. Her name is Liberty. And yeah, I think I'm 14 weeks now, just hit the second trimester. We're having a baby boy. 2 major differences between the pregnancies is one, I was basically showing after I got a positive test. It's ridiculous. I think I took like 6 months to show with Liberty.
Yeah.
And then second of all is I didn't believe mums when they said they could feel extremely sick during pregnancy. My pregnancy was unbelievable with Liberty, so I feel really bad. I had no grace-free mums that tell me that. Until this pregnancy, I've been nauseous pretty much every single day, eating everything that I can see to try and make me feel better. I'm turning a corner, second trimester, but my goodness, I'm tired, I'm napping. And I'm
look great.
nauseous. Tired, napping, and nauseous. That's really it.
I said you look great.
Thank you, apart from this pregnancy acne, but we're okay. It's great.
Yeah, we're very, very excited. So prepping for that. Just wanted to get that out there because one of us is going to be getting a little bigger.
Yeah, I'll wear some tighter tops next week.
All right.
Show you guys the bump.
So episode 2. Do you want to intro this one?
I would love to.
Yeah, tell them what we're going to be talking about, folks.
Okay, so as we said, we've been kind of eating clean and looking after ourselves for around 4 years. Some of us for a little bit longer, as I did mention last week. But in the last 8 months, we have learned, honestly, the majority of all that we know from Dr. Ben Edwards, who is a holistic doctor in Lubbock, Texas. Definitely known to be an absolute legend here. The world probably should know him if they don't already. But we are going to talk about one of his major philosophies today, which is really the 4 pillars of health. So we're going to unpack that, talk about that. Also, we'll link some of his videos below to go into way more detail than we're going to go into. We are definitely intermediate and learning, but have to talk about his 4 pillars of health. They are incredible.
Yeah. And he also has a podcast called You Are the Cure.
Yep.
So if you want to go more in depth of what we talk about today, eventually we hope to have him on the podcast.
Yes, please.
So he goes a ton more in depth, and so you can go check that out after you listen to this.
Yeah, so 4 pillars of health, drum roll, while I'm holding my hot tea and Blake's sipping coffee, is 4 pillars of health are nutrition. I'm going like this.
Oh.
No, you're right. So the 4 pillars of health are nutrition, hydration, movement, and peace. They are the 4 pillars of health. We just felt like when I started to learn about these, I started to learn that how to practically be healthy. Like, let's break these down and let's talk about it. Let's help you guys and give you some practical examples of what you can do daily
Well,
to
especially
look after yourself.
We've been on a journey, and we call it spirit, soul, body. And it's like when we connected to Dr. Ben and heard about his 4 pillars, it almost brings a very practical side of natural day-to-day stuff that you can do to experience this.
Yeah.
we'll break down even the 4 pillar of peace, but it goes along with spirit for us. So it's like, it's just really cool when you meet people and you kind of have the same beliefs, and they kind of help you practically and scientifically for him of just how it's actually possible to live this way.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's kick it off. So
get right into it.
Number 1 is nutrition. So the most easiest way to look at it is eat God food, not man food. So our ancestors ate a lot cleaner than we did. They ate an avocado. They ate a carrot. They ate things from the ground. They ate animals. They didn't have chemicals. They didn't have dyes. Like, I heard this before, that if your granny or grandpa doesn't know what you're eating, like a Pop-Tart, you probably shouldn't put in your mouth.
Yeah, or like the ingredients that are in it, if they can't read it and understand it.
I mean, if we can't read it and understand it.
Right.
So really, it's going back to, what did our ancestors eat? Well, one of the most interesting things that we learned about with this whole nutrition pillar was a guy called Weston A. Price. So he traveled the world. He was a dentist. I'm not going to get into his whole story, but he was a dentist and was trying to figure out why people got cavities and diseases and all of this stuff in some parts of the country, but not other parts. So he traveled around and he found that there was not one diet that fits all, which we're going to unpack this in a couple of weeks. But he found that whatever community and environment and culture you are brought up in, there's food for you. God made all these different countries and continents, and go eat the food that's there. So in some tribes, they were eating whale blubber.
Yeah, he ended up going and studying, I think, 12 different indigenous tribes in all parts of the world.
Yeah.
Like some was Alaska, some was Africa, all these different things. And one thing that he noticed was tuberculosis was a big thing at the time. And he was kind of seeing like which tribes were getting it, which ones weren't. And yeah, if you want to continue, sorry, I just wanted to.
Yeah. So in some places, maybe Alaska, cold places, they were literally living off whale blubber. Yeah. That's what they had. So they ate it and they were healthy. And then some places where I think 90% plant-based with still a little bit of meat, and they were thriving. And then some places just hunted animals and that's all they had. Eating maybe raw meat, beef liver, all the things we hear about today. And that's what they lived off, and they were healthy.
Yeah, he started to notice like it was basically whatever their environment provided. Yeah. Whatever was the most natural thing in their environment was what they were thriving off of. Yeah. And one of the things that he started to notice was like these tribes would be thriving, and then there would be tribes that were only a few miles away that somehow got introduced to what he calls in his book of modern food, which is like wheat and rich flour and these things. These tribes were actually suffering and dying from tuberculosis, from these diseases at the time, because they were getting introduced to foods that they shouldn't have been introduced to. So really what they discovered of what these modern foods were, or really today foods we should avoid, is these wheat and rich flours. Like so many people having these gluten intolerance and things is because of these hybridized wheats that man has created. There's a big difference between biblical wheat, of when they would have it, there was a huge process of how you even had to thresh the wheat and do all these things before you can even consume it. And now all these hybridized wheats that we have add all these new glutens and all these different things, and it's so that it can be mass produced. Yeah. And it just loses all the quality, and it introduces things in your gut that you just weren't supposed to even consume. Yes. So wheat was a big one. Another thing that was introduced was seed oils. That's canola oil, sunflower oil, all these things that they have to add extra chemicals and stuff to even get that. Which we're only unpacking now. The world's only unpacking now that they're bad for you. Yeah, and they're starting to see links between all of these oils and things like heart disease, which heart disease was just introduced. The first case was in the 1900s, like when modern food started coming into our diet. And the third one is these processed sugars that are just in everything, the high fructose corn syrup. These things are just absolutely terrible for you. And I feel like most of us know that sugar is bad,
Right.
but it's just
It's in everything.
processed and put in everything. It has, there's a sheet, I'm sure you can look it up, of all different names of sugar that's on ingredients. And it's like almost some kind of, if I can use the word, demonic code
Yeah.
that just tries to hide this poison that they're putting in all of our food, our children's food. So to simplify all of that,
We went on a little bit of a tangent. We get a little passionate about this.
is to say, stick to God food, not man food. So
Right.
Go
Well,
ahead.
like an apple's an apple. We'll get into organic and non-organic another time, but which is very important. But honestly, best thing you can do is go into your pantry. What do we call it back in Ireland? Your cupboard. I don't know. Open it up.
You've forgotten.
I've forgotten. And go and throw out your processed sugars, your wheat-enriched flour, and your seed oils. Go and throw them out. That's the place to start.
Yeah.
And then start eating God food. So eat an avocado.
one
Eat
thing,
an apple.
one
Eat
thing
a
you
mango.
always-
Eat peaches.
One of the
Eat
things,
veggies.
let me talk. One of the things that you always say is like things that the actual thing is the ingredient.
Yeah.
Like an avocado is an avocado.
That's what I've said 15
You didn't
times.
say that,
This.
did you?
I thought they would have understood.
Well, so another practical example is like when you go to the grocery store, try sticking to the perimeter of the store. Most of the stuff that's on the inside in the aisles is going to be things to avoid. It's not God food, it's man food. So anything that is still going to be around if there's an apocalypse or when Jesus comes back, like it's going to last that long, you probably should not put that in your body. By probably, I mean you absolutely should not put that in your body. God food is like, what is the closest way that you can get to the source? How close can you get to the source? When you look at chicken, what's in chicken? It should just be chicken. Beef, it should be beef from a cow. Like, it doesn't need to. This is a whole nother thing of what's in cows and soy and grain, and that's another thing. What are we? We're just on the first one, just still nutrition.
We're still on nutrition.
Okay, so I know that felt like it was quick and just a lot, but to sum it all up, the first pillar, nutrition. Eat God food, not man food. So try to get as close to the source as you can before man stepped in and started adding all these other things.
Yeah, there really shouldn't be more than 3 ingredients on
Right.
the list or whatever it is.
Right. So closest to the source. This eat God food, not man food actually brought a ton of freedom to our life, but me specifically of like, and again, we're going to get into this in more episodes, but like we complicate things so much when it comes to diet and what you should or shouldn't eat. And this broadens things so much of like, if I can just think, am I eating this closest to the source as possible, then it should benefit my body.
Right.
And that's it. You don't have to think about anything else, which I think is beautiful to this concept.
Yeah.
Okay, we are moving on to pillar number 2, which is hydration. This one kind of blew my mind. Like I knew drinking water was important, but I didn't realize like it's the root cause of a lot of things is dehydration and us, which we'll get into, being demineralized. So here's an example. I used to, when we think about just being hydrated, like I was the kind of person that at certain points I would be super motivated and I would just start carrying around a gallon jug of water. Like,
Chugging it.
yeah, I'm hydrated and chugging it and probably flexing while I'm doing it. No, I didn't do that, I promise. But I'm just drinking all this water thinking like, yeah, I'm getting hydrated because I know it's important. And it's like, that's not what this means at all.
Yeah.
Like actually drinking that much water can hurt you because you're actually depleting your body. So let's break down hydration. Here's a practical example. Here in Lubbock, Texas, and actually a lot of places across America, you should not be drinking your tap water.
You can't.
There's a lot of just junk in it that's not good for you.
It is crazy that you can't drink the tap water here. So they come up with a system instead where it's called RO. It's reverse osmosis. So what they basically do is they have this system you can put in your house and businesses. And what they're doing is they're pulling out all that bad stuff.
I'm sure everyone's familiar with the RO system.
Anyway, not people in Ireland. They pull out all that bad stuff. And then what they do is while they're pulling out all the bad stuff, they also have to pull out the good minerals. Easiest way to do it, right? Just pull everything out. So we are all just drinking here liquid. We're not, there's no minerals in it. It's not how God intended it to be. We're not like, we are totally demineralized as a population. We have no minerals in our water. You think we're eating minerals? No one's going to think about eating minerals. We don't even know what minerals are.
Yeah.
So here, what we have learned is, fill up your RO water, fill up your glass of RO water, but then you want to add minerals into it. So you can buy fulvic mineral drops. So adding minerals back into your water, you can drop them in. That also has magnesium in it, which is so good for you. Trace minerals. And then I squeeze. Blake isn't as mad about the old lemon and lime, but I love it. So I squeeze a whole lemon and a whole lime into a glass of water in the morning. Literally, you're getting vitamin C straight into your body, which is so good for you. And then lime's really good at fighting infection. So you have added minerals back into your water. Like, we're doing the best we can here. We're trying to make it as mineralized as we can.
Yeah, like when I'm talking to people about this, when I go to Ireland, it just blows my mind that I can just grab a glass, turn on the faucet anywhere in the house, and drink the water. And you can taste the minerals in it. You can tell that it's from the source. It hasn't been tainted with or pulled all the stuff out. And it's actually good for you. It's actually hydrating you and giving your body the minerals it needs to fight all these things. And I've also read this book called Quench that just opens you up so much of like joint pain, people that suffer with migraines and headaches, all of these things. One of the root causes can just be simply dehydration. Yeah. That you're just not hydrated. When you're hydrated, it actually gives your joints cushion.
Right. Forgot to mention two things.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Also, I don't do this often, but a lot of people add real salt into their glass. Yeah. This is going to blow people's mind, but real salt, we buy Redmond's real salt, is very good for you. It's super hydrating. And then something else that your body adores is coconut water. Whatever is in coconut water, the insides of your body adore it. Coconut water is fantastic for you. So you want to get coconut water that, again, doesn't have anything else in it. It's just pure coconut water. Add a lime in. You'll love it.
Yeah. So if you're being conscious of being hydrated, the main thing you need to be conscious of is, am I giving my body back the minerals that it needs? Yeah. So honestly, if you're drinking RO water all the time, you need to try to be thinking, how can I put minerals back into what I'm drinking? Another way that you can hydrate yourself is by the fruit and veggies that you're eating. Mm-hmm. Like when you bite into a peach, like Liberty loves peaches. She bites into it and like it's just running down her chin. Like that's actually so good for us. The juice from it is actually hydrating you also. So it doesn't take just drinking to be hydrated. You can also eat to be hydrated. There's foods that can hydrate you, which is fruit and veg.
Add chia seeds into your water too.
Yeah.
Blake's not there yet.
The texture is crazy. But in that Quench book, there's a story of this tribe that it's in the desert somewhere, and they literally run like 50-mile marathons for fun. And the lady that went and studied them, it just blew her mind. One, because they're in a desert. They don't have access to all this water. Like, how are they able to do these marathons, stay hydrated? Well, one of the things that they do is they put chia seeds in their water.
Love it.
And it will actually time release the water into their body. Yeah. So they'll have some before they run, and then they'll also carry another bag of chia seeds. Fantastic. Halfway through, they'll put it in, and it helps absorb and keep them hydrated, this is what I mean by hydration, is like no one's ever told me that it's that important.
Yeah.
And even mental clarity, all these things is just like drink good water. So
Just pause. I'm just going to have a sip.
yeah.
You motivated me.
Yeah, now we're all thirsty.
Okay, moving on to maybe my favorite pillar. Well, the most I've learned anyway the last few months is pillar number 3, which is movement. My whole life and still now, I'm definitely in seasons where I'm training a lot and not training a lot. But what's really helped me during this first trimester of not wanting to train is because I'm a lot more educated with movement and how to move my body.
Yeah.
So I read a book called Built to Move, which we'll have to link somewhere. It's one of the best books I've ever read. And it just talks about the importance of movement and mobility. That book helped me so much. It helped me to be able to move during this time. So, you know, that book talks about how it's not good for us to sit all day. So we actually shouldn't, again, our ancestors our ancestors never sat for longer than 6 hours a day. We should not be sitting for longer than 6 hours a day. Our bodies were built to move. So what I learned from that book, a few little nuggets, is it is unbelievable to sit on the ground, crisscross applesauce for 30 minutes to an hour a day. It's really good for the muscles on your bum. It's really good for your back. It takes any pressure off your back. And also it's really good for your hips and hip flexors. It's so good for you to sit on the ground. So you'll see me in work, in the office. There's a few girls that love doing it too. And we're sitting on the ground reading or on our laptops.
Freaks.
Yeah, he hasn't. Again, something I need to get him into is sitting on the ground. But not just that, we need to move as much as we can. Sitting on the couch in, lounging back in that awful position. It's bad for your spine. It's bad for your back.
Yeah, it's proven that sitting for 8 hours a day increases your risk of heart disease, of inflammation, of diabetes. And we see that especially in America of just...
Yeah.
In Europe too, all over the world is like these desk jobs where we just sit there and it's like, what can you do? Well, I know when I get off work, I'm going to go work out.
Right.
The interesting thing is it's not one or the other. It's both and.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to exercise and there's so many benefits to exercise, but it does not negate that you've been sitting for 8 hours a day. It doesn't cancel it out. You've already done the damage of being stagnant for 8 hours.
Right.
So going to work out after work does not dismiss what you've just done all day. So what you're talking about of what is it that we're meant to move, get up and move every hour?
Yeah. So, well, just for practical, because I do work 8 hours a day. Like I said, I do sit down for...
I work too.
Yeah, but you could, you're not
Yeah,
you're not stuck to an office from 8 to 5. But so as I said, you can sit on the ground, which is really good for your body. But also if you are, because a lot of us still have to sit at a desk for 8 hours a day, every hour, honestly, every 30 minutes to an hour, get up, go to the well, if you're, got a lot of confidence, you can just do it at your desk because who gives a crap?
Yeah.
Or go to a big cubicle in the bathrooms and do 10 squats on 10 wall presses. When your heart rate's up, it pushes the blood and the oxygen around your body, and it's so good for you. We want to get our heart rate up as much as we can during the day, even if it's just these spurts of energy that we get. And you feel it. You feel more energized. Mm-hmm. So, every hour, sometimes I don't do it. At least 4 times a day, go do your 4 squats on your 4 wall presses. You can also go close grip, wide grip, add in some, dips. If there is a chair in one of the bathrooms, which is super random, I have access to. I'm going to do some dips. Do as much as you can to get your heart rate up and you're working. So bonus. Yeah,
it's even like, well, you just see things like naturally, even the fact that we have to get up and go to the restroom is a blessing.
Yeah.
Like our bodies were designed that way so that we have to get up and go do something. So for me, that it's just something that I was surprised with of how much like you don't crash because you're reoxygenating your body. When you start moving, your heart's pumping blood to all these places that have been stagnant.
Right.
And you just feel refreshed.
Yeah.
So movement will absolutely change your life.
And also, if you do have the freedom of having a desk that you can stand, a standing desk, again, that's really beneficial. And getting up and going for a walk outside, circle your office a couple of times.
There's one desk with like the treadmill that you walk, you know, the guy that you always want to punch in the face. Well, they're on to something because it actually is working. Something funny that, as far as just, I don't know, I think it's unique because you bring the European culture, I have the American culture, and there's pros and cons to both, I think. But one of the funny things is, like, when Vicky and I first met, like, we would go to the store and there'd be another store just down the road or something. She's
it wasn't down the road. It was in the same shopping center.
It's still connected. And she'd be like starting to walk to the store. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, we're going to get in the car and we're going to drive over there and get back out and go to the store. Like,
it was 8 seconds closer, the spot. I honestly, I had no idea what he was doing. It was in the same shopping center, and it was about a 1.5 minute walk.
Yeah, long walk.
So Blake was going to the car, and I literally was like, that's absurd.
Which, yes, I understand now. But even like her parents.
He also walked really slow. On our first, let me just tell on you. On our first date,
I was trying to enjoy our time together. Thank you.
Carried a little extra weight and walked really slow too. So we met. Blake picked me up. We were going to this big park to go boxing, and literally, like, he's walking snail pace. Very impressive if really you were just trying to spend more time with me. But I'm pretty sure you were a slow walker. Like, I just don't know if you couldn't carry your weight. I'm only joking. But you just walked. It took us like 15 minutes where it should have taken us 4. Now, I walk extremely fast.
Yeah. So when your parents, I think it was the first time they came to Texas to visit, they would walk to the grocery store that's like, which is very normal in Ireland. But here it's like, it's just not normal. Like, when you're driving and you see somebody walking down the road, you naturally immediately think, where did they go wrong?
Oh my God.
Like, what is their story?
It is strange.
What drugs are they on? Why can't they afford a car? Like, you think of all these things and it's really like, oh no, it's just because they're really healthy and want to go for a walk. Mm-hmm. So I've been converted. I walk now.
You run a lot.
Thank you. So, but seen humongous benefits just breaking that cycle of being immobile.
Yeah, and also there's just no excuse for it. You're watching an hour show. That's okay. We do it every night. Sit on the ground. Crisscross applesauce. Bring one leg up. Have one leg straight.
Or just get up and walk during a commercial break, or fold laundry while you watch it. Like,
right. Just move.
Yeah.
So yeah, get up and move and read the book Built to Move. So.
All right. So we're finally here. The fourth and final pillar is the peace pillar. Honestly, the most important pillar. If you don't have peace, these other things don't matter.
Right.
You can do these other things to a T every single day.
Yeah.
And if you don't have peace, it'll cancel.
Yeah. So we've really learned the last couple of months, this is shocking, that you're only meant to be in the fight or flight, crazy anxiety, high strung. You're only meant to be there for about a minute or two, 3 times a year. Like, God gave us that, the fight or flight, let's go,
in
heart pounding
scenarios. Yeah.
In extreme scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
Like, someone's about to get run over. I'm going to grab them, fight or flight. Like, we're only meant to be there for, a split second. Mm-hmm. But people are living in that.
Right.
People are living in the fight or flight, high anxiety, high strung, high stress.
Yeah.
I mean, stress really probably brings a lot of it on, or fear, or depression. I mean, I could keep going, but we're not meant to live in that.
Right.
When we live in that, our body is literally just trying to survive. Mm-hmm. All our body's doing is trying to survive. It can't digest that gorgeous organic Granny Smith apple you just had.
Yeah.
It can't. So forget everything. Everything gets thrown out the window. So if you're hydrating your body, you're adding your lemons and limes every morning, you're eating the cleanest food you can eat, you're moving 24/7, but you're in fight or flight mode because you're super stressed. Your body's not even digesting your food right.
Yeah.
You're in turmoil.
You're not even absorbing the nutrients.
No, and the scary and sad thing is we can be doing amazing in the first 3 pillars, but if we're not at peace in our bodies, that can actually create sickness. It can create disease. So I heard this story where someone had gone to talk to a doctor. They were sitting in their room and the doctor said, like, this girl was she had gotten sick. I think she had a tumor. But she ate clean, she hydrated herself, she was moving, she was doing all the right things, she looked healthy, but she had a tumor. He asked the question, when did the thing that brought you the most joy in your life get taken away?
The doctor asked that?
The doctor asked that. So she starts weeping. And she explained that she had looked after, I think it was her daughter's daughter. She had taken her in. Her daughter had maybe fled the country. I don't know. She'd gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
So she took her in. She took in this girl as her own daughter. Suddenly her mum came back literally 10 years later and took her daughter away because she could. And literally when that joy, probably one of the main joys in her life or the only joys in her life was taken away, she literally started, she was depressed, she was sad, she was sick to her stomach, she was in fight or flight, she had anxiety, which you can understand.
Of course.
But that led to her getting a tumor because she was living with this deep, sick sadness in her body, and her whole body felt it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when you're in fight or flight or really anxious, but if you're constantly living in that, it's very hard to be healthy. I mean, you really aren't looking after yourself because you're not rationally even thinking. Your whole life is irrational because you're in fear the whole time or you're sad the whole time. Like, you're not worried about even looking after yourself. But she just wasn't at peace. So I just wanted to share that story. It just really impacted me.
Yeah, that's such a perfect story of why this is so important. Like, especially in the high-strung modern society that we all live in, anxiety is just such a common word, but it shouldn't be the norm.
Right.
But it takes intentionality and actually being aware of what is my body saying.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting that perfectly aligns with this spirit, soul, body concept of like, these 3 things are so intertwined. If you're lacking in one, it's going to show up in the other. If you don't have peace, it's going to show up in your body.
Right.
Science has proven it. We just heard the stories. Like, it's so important to just be mindful and aware of these 3 areas, spirit, soul, body, being very intentional. Because once you are, it's like you are thriving.
Right.
You're fulfilled, you're satisfied. Will there be times that something will happen and things will come against you? Sure. But you can respond with health.
Yeah. I mean, and there is times to be sad and to grieve. We just can't live there forever.
Very good. Yeah.
So, like, if I'm sad, I'm going to cry. But then I'm going to be okay and not have a victim mentality and move on. But there is times to grieve. It's just...
Well, and be okay with getting help.
Right.
Like, trauma's real. Like, we go through real stuff that we need community. We need help. We need to process.
So yeah, we again want to thank Dr. Ben Edwards for giving us the knowledge of the 4 pillars of health, which is nutrition, hydration, movement, and peace. It has changed our lives, and I hope it changes yours too. Yeah, go throw some lemon and lime in your water. Go eat an organic Granny Smith apple. You can get one here. You can get one at home. I know it.
They're not that good, actually.
Blake doesn't like green apples for some bizarre reason. Put some clean yogurt on it. We need to talk about clean yogurt, but we'll get into the details. I want to tell everybody what I eat every single day because it's so good. We love food, by the way, so don't worry. We got you guys.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you learned a lot, and check in next time.